welcome to the deep dive. Today our mission is to really get under the surface of a striking contradiction in correctional technology. How can one digital device be celebrated as this amazing free educational tool while also being the platform for communication that, frankly, puts a huge financial strain on inmates' families who are vital for successful reentry?
Exactly. It's this duality we're seeing.
Yeah, and we're zooming in on Alabama today. We've got the official ADOC news releases about their digital learning stuff, these PEDs, but we're putting that right alongside the actual price list from their communication provider, IC Solutions, and crucially, the stacks of customer complaints about the service.
Right. Complaints about the quality, the cost, the whole pay-for-play tablet model that's, spread across the U.S.
So, okay, let's unpack this. We've got this goal: reduce recidivism, help people succeed, but the very tools meant to connect families might actually be crippling them financially. That's the core tension here.
It really is.
Okay, so let's start with the promise, the upside. The Alabama Department of Corrections, ADOC, they started rolling out these personal education devices, PEDs, back in early 2021.
Aiming for full rollout by mid-year.
And Commissioner Jeff Dunn was really pushing them. Said they were key for effective evidence-based rehabilitation, helping people get back on their feet successfully.
The official line was about personal growth, opportunities, even reducing violence inside facilities.
And these devices, they're specific corrections grade ones. Secure, no open internet, no social media, no cameras on the basic model.
Right. It's a controlled environment.
But the content itself, that sounds genuinely impressive. Free access to K-12, GED prep, even college courses, vocational training.
Job search help, financial literacy, self-help resources, religious materials too. It's substantial educational content.
Yeah, this isn't just like busy work. This is stuff that could actually change someone's path.
Absolutely.
But here's where it gets interesting. The funding. The sources make it clear.
Yeah.
ADOC paid nothing upfront or ongoing for this.
Zero state investment.
The provider, Securus Technologies back then, covered everything, which on the surface sounds amazing for the state, right? Free education, no cost to taxpayers.
It sounds like a dream deal, but in corrections contracts, there's almost always a catch. Nothing's truly free.
Okay, so what's the catch?
The catch is how it's funded. That free education is essentially subsidized by the paid services on the same device, the communication apps.
Ah, so the e-messaging, the phone calls, the video calls.
Exactly. The vendor provides the education for free because they get a captive audience for these communication services, often at really high prices. The state gets the good PR for education. The vendor gets the revenue stream.
And this connection aspect is critical, isn't it? All the research points to family contact being vital for successful reentry.
It's one of the most reliable predictors we have. Consistent, meaningful contact with loved ones dramatically improves outcomes.
Yet that's the very thing being monetized here, this whole pay-for-play tablet model you mentioned.
Yeah, it's become standard practice in many places. Tennessee, others under these big master agreements. The state agencies actually get kickbacks, commissions.
Wait, the state gets a cut of the money families pay for calls and messages?
Yes. It varies, but we've seen figures cited anywhere from 5% to, believe it or not, 40% of the gross revenue, sometimes with guaranteed minimum payments to the state, too.
So the state actually has a financial incentive to keep those communication prices high and keep the vendor happy.
Precisely. It creates a structural incentive that runs directly counter to the goal of fostering family connections. It potentially encourages more paid communication regardless of the burden on families.
Okay, so let's bring it back to Alabama specifically. They're switching providers, right, to IC Solutions starting August 1st, 2025.
That's right. And their published rates really highlight this financial burden.
Give us the numbers. What are families looking at?
Okay, so domestic phone calls are set at 008 cents per minute. Remote video visits crucial for families far away. That's $0.06 per minute.
16 cents a minute for video, when we're all used to free video calls on the outside.
Exactly. And email or text messages are $0.15 per message. Receiving a photo, just inbound, costs $0.30 per photo. And even short voice messages are 25 cents each.
Wow. Okay, let's break down that video call cost. 16 cents a minute. What does that mean for a family trying to stay connected?
Well, think about just one 15-minute video call. That's $2.40.
Okay.
Now, imagine a spouse or a parent wants to have that brief connection daily. Just 15 minutes. That's over $70 a month right there.
Just for short daily video calls? And that's before any emails, texts, photos.
Exactly. It adds up incredibly fast. You're essentially monetizing the relationship itself. treating connection, which we know is vital for rehabilitation, like a luxury good.
And it disproportionately hits lower-income families, the ones already struggling with, the economic impact of having someone incarcerated.
Absolutely. It becomes this hidden financial strain, treating a fundamental need as a commodity.
And because IC Solutions will be the exclusive provider, families have no choice. They have to pay these rates if they want that connection. Which brings us to quality.
Right. If you're paying premium prices with no alternative, what kind of service are you actually getting?
Well, we looked into the Better Business Bureau. IC Solutions has an A-plus profile rating, which sounds good, but they're not BBB accredited.
Interesting distinction.
Yeah, and the complaints tell a story. 150 complaints in the last 3 years, 70 closed in just the last 12 months. That seems like a lot.
It does. And what kind of issues are people reporting?
They fall into pretty clear categories, actually. Technical failures are huge, billing problems, major headaches there, and terrible customer service.
So the trifecta of frustration for users.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
On the technical side, we saw examples like calls just going straight to voicemail. The system apparently flags the incoming call from the facility as spam.
Seriously. So you have to manually whitelist the prison's number.
Yeah, people reported having to add the specific facility number, like for Childersburg, just to maybe get the call to come through.
What a hassle. And it probably misses calls anyway.
Oh, yeah. And even if it connects, people complain about frequent dropped calls or video visits that just fail to launch, but the system still logs it as a missed visit by the inmate.
Which, in a paper-minute system, isn't just annoying, it's literally losing money. You paid for time you didn't get.
Exactly. Lost money, lost connection time, huge emotional toll.
And the billing issues.
Oh, boy. One user detailed trying to add funds online. 3 failed transactions, but they were still charged for all 3, totaling $114.
Ouch.
And when they contacted support, they were told it would take 14 days, 2 full weeks, to get that refund processed.
2 weeks without that $114 means potentially 2 weeks of no calls, no messages, all because the vendor system messed up. That feels exploitative.
It really does. Another person said money was just disappearing from their account with no calls made, just gone.
Unbelievable. And customer service doesn't help.
Complaints mentioned agents hanging up on them, supervisors being rude. There were even comments about struggling to understand representatives, maybe offshore call centers, and just being totally unresponsive to emails or calls seeking help.
It sounds like a classic monopoly situation. No competition means zero incentive to provide decent service, even at high prices.
Right. But the problems go deeper than just bad service, don't they?
Well,
The sources talk about structural issues within the contracts themselves.
yeah, definitely. There are mechanisms embedded in these systems that can actively disadvantage people, particularly the most vulnerable.
Like this literacy tax idea. Explain that.
Okay, so in some tablet contracts, maybe not this specific one, but it's part of the landscape pricing for things like e-messages isn't based on the length of the message itself, but on the time spent typing it.
Wait, seriously? So if you type slower, you pay more?
Exactly. Let's say it's 5 cents a minute to compose an email. If you're quick and type it in 2 minutes, that's 10 cents. But if someone struggles with literacy or maybe has a learning disability and it takes them 5 minutes to type the same message, they pay 25 cents.
150% markup just because they need more time.
Precisely. It functionally penalizes people with lower literacy skills. It's a tax on needing more time to communicate. It's deeply inequitable.
That's incredibly insidious. Wow. What about just regular mail? Snail mail. Is that still a viable, cheap option?
Well, that's being targeted too. There's a big push in corrections to eliminate physical mail coming directly into facilities.
Why? Security.
That's the stated reason, often contraband concerns. But the solution implemented is often shifting to digital mail scanning services run by the same vendors.
Oh. So the mail gets sent off-site, scanned.
And the facility gets a digital copy, but the family or the inmate might be charged for the service maybe $1.95 per piece of mail scanned.
So even traditional mail gets monetized.
Yes. And the data shows that when this happens, physical mail volume can drop by half, which, conveniently for the vendor, might push people towards using their paid e-messaging services instead. It boosts that revenue stream.
Okay, so everything is becoming digital. Calls, video, texts, even scanned mail. That brings up massive privacy questions, doesn't it?
Huge questions. Because all that digital communication isn't just passing through, it's being recorded, stored, and analyzed.
How extensively?
Phone calls, except for privileged calls with attorneys, are typically recorded and stored for the entire length of the vendor contract, Years, potentially.
Wow.
Video visits are recorded and kept for at least 90 days, sometimes longer. But the real kicker is the data analysis.
What do you mean?
All the e-messages, the scanned mail content, the call metadata, who called whom, when, for how long, it all gets fed into these massive searchable databases. These systems are designed specifically to analyze networks, relationships, and connections. They can flag keywords, track communication patterns.
So family members on the outside, just trying to support their loved one, are also having their communications swept up into this surveillance system.
Absolutely. Their messages, their calls are subject to scrutiny, keyword flagging, long-term storage. It extends the surveillance net far beyond the prison walls.
That feels like a fundamental shift in privacy for people who haven't even been accused of a crime.
It is, and it stems from this reliance on private, for-profit companies whose business model is data collection and communication control, often incentivized by those state commission kickbacks we talked about. The market interest seems to consistently overshadow the rehabilitative goals.
Is there any alternative model being discussed? Something less exploitative?
The sources we looked at did mention one possibility: moving away from private vendors towards a state-operated system.
Run by the state itself.
Yeah, potentially using AI for security monitoring, but designed for transparency and safety first. The idea is it could integrate with educational platforms without needing these per-minute charges or reliance on commission structures. It could, in theory, prioritize connection and rehabilitation over profit.
Okay, so let's try to pull this all together for the listener. We started this deep dive looking at these PEDs in Alabama, this promise of free, life-changing education. Seems great on the surface.
Right, a clear positive step, you'd think.
But digging deeper, that free education seems almost like a delivery mechanism for a very expensive, potentially poor quality communication system.
It enables this closed digital ecosystem where the vendor and indirectly the state, through those commissions, profits directly from the very family connections that are supposed to be crucial for success after release. It's a fundamental conflict.
So the tools designed to help might actually be hindering by making connection too expensive or too unreliable.
That's the core dilemma. And the sources suggest some clear paths toward a more equitable system.
Like what?
Things like getting rid of the commission kickbacks entirely so the state isn't financially invested in high prices. Compensating people if they lose, purchase digital content when vendors change.
That seems fair.
And making basic communication calls, messages available at much more reasonable rates, or perhaps even free, recognizing it as essential infrastructure for rehabilitation, not a profit center. Better privacy protections are also critical.
Right. So here's the thought to leave you with. We started out seeing this technology as a free educational lifeline, a genuine tool for change. But if the way that tool is paid for through high-cost, often low-quality communication services actively undermines family bonds, the very bonds proven to help people succeed, are we really investing in rehabilitation? Or have we just found a new way to expand the marketplace inside prison walls? Something to think about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.